when I first started drinking, of course, just like everyone, you don't start off drinking thinking, oh, this is going to be a problem one day,
Right.
right? You think you can do a little bit different because you didn't spend all those years. Like I always knew that the drinking in excess was bad for your body, like health wise, right?
Hmm.
But I was going to do it different. I was super healthy. You know, we were organic farmers. We ate everything great. Our environment was really good. We didn't do a lot of the things that can bring harm into your life.
Right.
Like and so yeah, I thought I could just do it different. And it turns out, I found out about 9 years later that I had a problem. And that's when I realized that I was going a different direction than my family.
How
So
so you're saying you were going in a different direction. If you don't mind
yeah.
sharing, how was it affecting you?
So for about 7 years, I feel like, it feels weird saying, but I feel like I did pretty well with it.
Hmm.
Like, the job that I had at the time required me to travel quite a
Right.
bit. Uh, and so I would be gone most of the week. That my typical schedule was being gone Monday through Thursday. I would drive home, anywhere from Florida to South Carolina or wherever. North Carolina is where we were living at the time.
Okay.
And so I would do a lot of commuting, and then I would come home, and on the weekends we would work our different businesses that we had a couple businesses that required like setting up at trade shows or making
Right.
products, and plus I had, up to that point, 10 kids, right? And so I had a lot on my plate, and I felt like I juggled it pretty well. Our marriage has always been, with its struggles, and trials, but we've always been pretty intentional about getting through those things. So, and I was doing all that while I was, attempting to change my physical state, and I'd already done some
Right.
transformation in my early 40s. And so I just felt like I was doing really well. And then I started feeling, it was really the holidays that I think that I remember vividly, things feeling disconnected. And that's when I started to really fight it more in my head. Like I would never admit to myself that I had a problem.
Right.
And that just kind of heightened the battle, I guess is a way to
Yeah.
say it. Like it just really made things more tough because I probably knew subconsciously that I had a problem, right? But I didn't even want to verbalize it to myself, not even in my mind, because I knew that would kind of open up the door for a lot of, I don't know, just a lot of, I didn't know at the time, but I had these assumptions that it would open up the door for a lot of loss or a lot of embarrassment or a lot of, I don't know. I had no idea what to
Yeah.
think. So I didn't even go there. So, but it was feeling disconnected. Nothing was satisfying anymore. We were even doing better financially. We had moved to the property that we're on now, which is a pretty amazing property. And I just kind of kept this place as kind of like a party environment. And I think I just would kind of disconnect from reality into that party
Yeah.
environment. Then whenever like real get-togethers, like family events, mainly holidays would happen, I couldn't I couldn't connect with anyone anymore, and I just felt super disconnected.
And you were
And
drinking. Were you drinking during those? I assume.
oh
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it had gotten pretty bad. When I first
Was it
started,
was it like a drinking to function type? Was that, or you've got a
yeah,
family event, you've
yeah,
got 20
definitely.
people coming over, and hey, I've got to have some drinks so I can loosen up and get ready.
Yeah, because I always I've always had a problem speaking in groups of like if there was two or more people in a
Right.
group, like count me out. I'm not that I'm great at it now, but it's alcohol really. I felt like alcohol really allowed me to function in those environments and not feel so
Yeah.
weird,
Kind of loosened you up and made you feel more relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And interesting about that, one of the realizations I've had is that anything that I ever did good, in quotes, while I was drinking was already there. Like
Hmm.
alcohol just, I may have used that to expose, it to
Yeah.
myself. But I mean, that wasn't probably the original intention. But I look back now and I'm like, oh, if I did that while I was drinking, then I must be capable of doing this. And so you just have to fine tune it, and that's easier to do whenever when your mind's present. You know, when you're not avoiding reality, then you can pick out the things you need to work on,
So,
right?
yeah. So it was basically a crutch for you, correct? And kind of a somewhat, was it somewhat of an escape from reality or escape from maybe your
Oh yeah,
self
yeah,
consciousness or self image of yourself?
yeah. Not so much my self
Okay.
image. At least not because you know when I got into fitness at the same time originally, you know, I was 6'1". I was 149 pounds. 155 was the most I'd ever weighed,
Wow.
and so I was a pretty
Yeah, you
thin
were.
guy, right?
Yeah.
And and I and within a year or two, I'd put on about 30 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, and originally it was mainly muscle. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't really able to gain much fat, but that kind of changed, and I understand now how that changed. Like just the way that your body metabolizes
Hmm.
things, everything changes, and that took probably 5 or 6 years for me, and then I was up near 200 pounds, you know, and for me that's fairly heavy.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
wasn't obese or you know really overweight necessarily,